Thank you. Well, you see them at different places: construction sites, power plants, offices, at TV stations like ours, talking about electrical workers. The way they do their jobs can have a big impact on how so many others do theirs. And like just about everyone, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers has too been impacted by the pandemic. From positive COVID-19 cases to furloughs, we spoke with a local IBEW representative about these obstacles.
Our members have been affected on job sites that they have been furloughed on when it was at its peak. We probably had about 60 members out of our 300 and some odd members. We had about 60 of them test positive.
Gatewood saying right now, though, most members are working despite the challenges they've recently faced. The Brotherhood paying it forward today, hosting a drive-through book giveaway for readers of all ages.